Okay, boys and girls, today we are going to be talking all about percent. So please find the one that says 7-5 in your notes packet. There should be a huge triangle drawn at the bottom that we'll get to at the end of our lesson. Have that out and open. I've already written down the steps for you, but you'll be needing to do examples with me. So please make sure that you have a pencil out. So we're going to talk all about percents today. Well, first we're going to talk about what is a percent. Percent means out of 100. We use the percent symbol, and again, the percent symbol is going to be this two circles with the slash line in between it as a handy way to write a fraction with a common denominator of 100. For example, instead of saying you have 8 out of 100, or 8 out of every 100 professional basketball players are female, we can say 8% of female basketball players are female. So again, our percent symbol is going to be the two zeros and then the slash line. We're going to have to put that behind every percent we have so people know it's a percent, just not a normal number. So let's start working with percents now. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be renaming percents into fractions. We're also going to be renaming percents into decimals. So on the left-hand side, we're going to start with renaming percents as fractions. So our two steps is you're going to take whatever your percent is, and you're going to write it over 100, because percent means out of 100. Then you simplify if needed. So let's write down 87% with the percent symbol behind it on your notes packet on the left-hand side. So let's write down 87% and let's change that into a fraction. So what I need to do is I need to write my percent over 100. So I'm going to take the number 87 and I'm going to put it over 100. Ta-da! I just turned my percent into a fraction and I'm done with it that quickly because 87 over 100 cannot be simplified. If need be, remember we have that calculator button that fraction button on our calculator can help us see if our fraction can be simplified. Yes, you may use that. All right, well let's try now 5%. Again, I'm always going to take my percent and write it over 100. So I literally would take my numerator of 5 and I would write that over the number 100. Now this time I can simplify. What can go into both 5 and 100? Well, I know 5 can go into both of those numbers. So I divide top and bottom by 5 to get a final answer of 1/20th. So 5% is the same thing as 1 out of 20. You need to simplify down your fractions. So that's naming percents as fractions. Now, we're going to do a couple quick examples just to make sure you got them. Actually, I think you guys understood that. We're just going to skip this slide to not make the video too long on you. Let's move on to renaming percents as decimals. So we're going to move on to the right side of your paper right now. This is going to be pretty simple. You are going to move the decimal point 2 places to the left, or you can use your calculator and divide it by 100. Either way works. And something key to remember, it's on your paper. I have it written in red on here to draw your attention to it. The decimal is always going to look smaller than the percent. Technically, they're both the same amount, but your decimal is going to be the smaller looking number. Now, to help you remember, I hope that this plays in the video, we have a little help from Beyonce of how we change our percents to decimals. So,
To the left, to the left. To the left, to the left. To the left, to the left.
okay, so as she says, we're going to be moving our decimal to the left, to the left. So just a quick little tip there of how you can help you remember that. So what we have is we're going to write 56% as a decimal. So on your paper, write down 56%. And what we need to think about is we need to think about where is our decimal point right now in the number 56. Decimal points, if they're not written, are always at the end of the number. So my decimal point is technically right there behind the 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my decimal point to the left twice. So I'm going to move it to the left, and my decimal point now goes in front of the 5. So my decimal would be 0.56. Now, it's not correct or incorrect to write or not write the 0. The 0 is optional if you would like to write it or not write it. So 56% as a decimal becomes 0.56. It is no longer a percent, so please do not write a percent symbol behind it. Let's try 8% now. In 8%, let's think about it. Our decimal is always at the back of the number. So my decimal is going to be right here, and I need to move it over one time. Uh-oh, I need to move it over a second time, but I don't have any more numbers. What can I always put? I can always add a 0 in. So let's write down a 0 in front of that. Now I can move my decimal over 1 time, 2 times, so it end up being in front of a 0. So I'd have 0.08 or 800ths as my decimal. So 8% becomes 800ths. Again, no percent because that is now a decimal. That's how we can tell the difference between them. All right, I have one more that's hiding down here at the bottom that I would like to move up so we can see that one as well. My last one for you today is we're going to write 120% as a decimal. So again, if I have 120, let's write that down with me. My decimal point right now is going to be here at the end of my number. I need to move my decimal again to the left 2 times. My decimal goes to the left, and it ends up being right there between the 1 and the 2. It doesn't always have to end up being at the beginning of the number. So I'd get 1 20/100th as my answer. That makes sense because I had a percent bigger than 100, so my decimal should end up being bigger than 1. Hopefully you wrote down all those 3 examples. Real quick, I want to, since these are going so fast, let's just kind of do some of these out loud together. If I have 17%, again, my decimal goes to the left, so 17% becomes 0.17. 2%, I would move again to the left, filling in a 0 in any empty spaces, so 2% becomes 0.02 or 200ths. 104%, again to the left, is going to become 1.04. So that's how you would write percents as decimals. One thing I want you guys to do, this is where you're going to have to pause the video and add some extra writing in, is you have this triangle at the bottom. What I would like you guys to do is I would like you guys to add in what I filled in on the outside of the triangle. So we have fraction, decimal, and percent in the 3 corners. I would like you guys to write the arrows on the outside and the symbols or the words in between them. So you're going to make your triangle look like my triangle. So you are going to write the stuff with like the percent over 100, the division symbol. You're going to write this at the bottom here, and you're going to draw the arrows like how I have them drawn. So please fill that in to complete the video for tonight. See you in class tomorrow. Hopefully the song plays. You guys were able to hear that in the video.